Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. It's been a while, but wanted to get out there and document a little bit of my progress with this new game jam that I'm working on called the Very Serious Juniper Dev Game Jam, hosted by Juniper Dev, the very serious YouTube content creator, so on and so forth. So we're gonna go through and we're just gonna do some work here with default. So let's go ahead and we'll get this started. You may hear Dora in the background as my daughter's watching some Dora, but that's all right. So we're just gonna do an empty project. So the game that I am working on is I'm gonna call it Surviving Death Row. We're actually gonna let's see, create a new folder. We'll call it game development. Alright. And that's where we're going to put our project. All right. So from my desktop, you can somewhat notice it is different from a Windows 10. I have changed my desktop over or my laptop to a Linux distribution. So I have the Fedora workstation as my laptop now. Since Windows 10 was obsoleted and the product lifestyle for Windows 10 has ended, I decided to switch my computer over to a Linux as Linux is supported virtually indefinitely, and I can put a new distribution of Linux anytime I want since I've gone through the process a couple times now. So we are working with Fedora right now. I did have Ubuntu a while back. Then I went back to Windows 10, and then Windows 10 wasn't working good. So I went ahead and tried a different Linux distribution. So we're now with Fedora. So let me know what you think at the desktop, if anything needs to be changed. But as of right now, I'm liking it so far. Can't complain. But with that explanation out the way as to why my desktop look or my laptop looks the way it does, let's get into creating Surviving Death Row. So, Surviving Death Row, in a nutshell, is going to be a side scroller beat 'em up style game where there's death row inmates fighting monsters, adversaries, wherever I can think of. Mainly gonna be monsters. They're gonna be it's a science fiction type of title, so there's going to be energy monsters that death row inmates must beat to provide power to the grid, to the like the power grid to the city. And if they beat the X amount of hordes or waves of enemies, then they get a reduction in their sentences, um, depending on how much time they're given to complete. So trying to do something super simple and having to incorporate the jam theme, which is spin to win. I have the warden of the prison, a gambler, and he provides the inmates a slot machine that they get to spin in order to provide weapons for their loadout against all of the enemies. So that's in a nutshell the elevator pitch type of deal on how the game is. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first and foremost, let's get into our main collection. Um, for the game engine, obviously, as you can see, I am using default. I have been working on other different engines these first 6 months, but for this particular jam and trying to get something up and running quickly, I thought best to work with default. After this jam, I may get back into working with phaser, but we shall see how things progress. But without, but let's go. Okay, so default game engine, and then as far as my pixel art, as I'm of course using pixel art, I'm using Pixplat. So you can see that there. Pixplat is a nice little engine for creating pixel art. So that is what I am currently using. We're just gonna say surviving death row just for a project name. And let's see, what should I do first? We're gonna do a skybox first. So width will be, I think it's 960, and the height is 640. I think that's pretty sure that's the default dimensions for default, but we can find that out if we go open up our game project. We can find display. Yeah, so width 960, height 640. Perfect. So my skybox would be the exact same height as the window for the game. Okay. And we'll use this nice little blue to create our skybox. So bam. Then make that skybox layer just to do a nice little sky background. All the battles will be taken outside, will be conducted outside of the prison. So it's gonna be like you'll see the sky, and maybe like I'm thinking draw a shape, add another layer. So what I'm thinking is like we'll have the prison here. So that would be like the prison. Then like a ground part for the player to be standing on. Maybe have like some platforms, and then having enemies come from the right side of the screen, maybe falling down from above, maybe coming up from the bottom. I don't know. We'll have to see how things pan out. Maybe have something like where say like so something like that to where you got that whole thing. So enemies will come here, maybe enemies will come there. I don't know. We'll have to work on it. No, maybe not that, because I want it to be a completely side scroller, so player will just be coming this way and this way. So enemies coming from the left and right of the screen. Maybe instead. All right, so have the building in the back. So it'd be like a little door here. Be like a little door for the building. So that way enemies can come from left side of the screen and right side of the screen from cages or whatever that the prison has surrounding the battlegrounds. So I think that's a pretty good idea. All right, but for right now, we're gonna hide that. We're gonna export our image. So project saves this as a like a project file for Pixplat, but with default we need PNGs. So we're gonna do a PNG, export it. Oops. Explore. I have no clue where that went, so oh yeah, it came to that's where I put it. Duh. All right, so the main folder, we're gonna create another folder. I like to have my own made like my own made folders capitalized, so I know I made them myself. We got assets, and we'll just call this one Skybox. Save. All right. Now that's done. So go in, and you can see it there. Put that in there. We're gonna create a what do we want to create? Tile sprite. Tile source. Atlas. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah. Well, no. That one can just be a sprite because it's only going to be one image. So we'll make it a sprite. That'll be fine. Right. Oh, JK. I gotta make it either a tile source or an atlas. Sorry, it's been a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna make it an atlas. We'll actually label it environment, and I can actually put more stuff, more separate PNGs into there as well. Okay. Edges. And we're gonna pull that out and just leave that in assets. Leave the skybox by itself. Then we can go in, pull our atlas, and get our image. All right, got that, and then we can create a game object, call it skybox. And then add component file, add the sprite. There we go. And right now, it's the middle is obviously the middle of our sprite here, so that's 0, 0. In order to get it to where it's shown directly on our game screen, we're going to have to reposition it. So we'll show the game screen first. And I got an error. Try that again. Okay. Okay. just have to take my word for it. But all we gotta do is just do half the width, half the height of our screen, and it'll be perfectly centered up on our game screen. So X is 960, so 480, and Y is 640, so 320. And that'll make it perfectly where our camera is set up to see everything in our game screen. I gotta fix this error so that way I can have the game load proper, the build, have my builds load properly. Uh, since I am using a Linux distribution, there's some extra steps that have to get done. So I'll do that after I'm done here with at least getting this first scene all set up. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do some work in some silence, so that way y'all can view. Let's see if there's any comments. As of right now, there's nothing, which is fine. All right. So I'm gonna turn the mic off now. Comments will be available. So if you need, if you want to have anything shown or just want to make any comments, feel free. But I'm gonna turn the mic off for right now. Well, Teddy, I don't know if you're still there or not, but we will go ahead and again, the game is going to be a side scroller beat 'em up that death row inmates are basically fighting to to survive their death row conviction. I made up definitely essentially what's happening is they are providing energy back to the power grid that the monsters they're going to be fighting will be providing their energy cores because somehow they provide the exact energy that the power grid in the city needs. So, death row inmates are able to fight for their lives to produce energy back to the city. If they complete the correct the right amount of waves for their sentence, then they are able to go free. Simple, pretty, nothing crazy. But for right now, that's where I'm gonna stop. I need to work on some things, and we'll try to stream again tomorrow. Um, Feel free to leave any comments and questions, and I will answer them as quickly as possible as well. But for right now, we're gonna call it a game over, and we'll chat tonight or tomorrow. But thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll get more stuff done before it's time to submit. Thanks for watching. All right, come on, man. There we go. Technical difficulties with the Linux distribution that I am using. This is my first live stream with it, and unfortunately, it's not cooperating the best. But hopefully, with next, be a lot better. Sorry, folks. If you're still there, appreciate you coming in. And I'll try to stream again later, hopefully with a much better result. But yeah, my first time with this new Linux distribution since I have Windows 10 before. So yeah, definitely will need to. There we go. Think I. No, not yet. We just stopped sharing.